there, welcome back to another episode of Karishma Connect. I'm here with an episode that I've been waiting to share with you all because it is such an amazing story and such an amazing human being on this podcast. Speaking to me is Mr. Arun Prakash, a visionary entrepreneur in the Indian startup ecosystem who's developed a platform called GUVI that has revolutionized the idea of providing personalized online learning and upskilling solutions in visionary educational technology. Now, he talks to me about not just having cracked his second Guinness World Record, but about why we don't really need to be intimidated by technology, and there's a host of opportunities that are there for us to explore it better. Find out more in this episode. Until the next one, stay tuned. This is Karishma. I'll be back yet again. Until then, tada. Thank you so much, Arun, sir, for joining me on this episode of Karishma Connect. It's a pleasure to have you. I can't wait to know more about GUVI, and it's fascinated me. I'm sure it'll fascinate the audience as well. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Karishma. Thank you for putting it here. Okay, it's whatever you're doing is a wonderful thing, especially bringing the people who was not in the limelight to the thing. So that would be helpful for a lot of people, and it will inspire others to do the same thing. That is the important part. So one part is bringing them limelight, but actually it inspires a lot of people. Oh, so many people are doing so many things. So it is also a viable thing which I should pursue. So like that, it will inspire.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. The first question I asked, sir, because nobody tells your journey better than you. Please tell me about your journey so far. How are you where you are today, and what makes it special to be?
Okay. So I started like you, like a simple podcaster. Then I transformed to this. Okay. So I'm no different from what you are starting on, what you are trying. Okay. I'll go back to the why part of it so that it connects to the audience in the right way. So I graduated from a tier 2 city called Madurai. Okay. So and then I joined a company, good company called Honeywell in R&D research and development. And my life was going good. There is no question in that. So I moved from Honeywell to KLA Tenco to PayPal. Everything for a middle class guy, it was perfectly set. Okay. So I got a girlfriend there. I got a good salary. I got a leadership position. Everything was good. So there is no nothing for me as a simple middle class guy. And at the time, I didn't know the idea of entrepreneurship as well. Okay. So during the time, I visited my college as alumni. Okay. Then I find there was a big divide between what is expected in the college and what is expected in industry. Okay. There is a big impedance mismatch between these two things. So I thought of giving back to my community. I love teaching as well, and I am a technologist. I do code day in day out. So what I started doing was that time I was working in PayPal. So in the late night, I mean, my son was also just born. Okay, so it was like this, like my wife will take care of the morning shift. I have to take care of the night shift to take care of him, to prepare the milk and give it to him. So he wakes up every 2 hours or 3 hours. So I also has to sync with this rhythm. So when I wake up, I didn't have other things to do it. So instead of that being a quiet time, I started doing recording videos and putting up in the YouTube for my juniors. Okay, so that was a simple thought process which I started with it. And when I started doing it, this I was doing in 2008 and 2009, where it was not that popular. YouTube now everybody starts it. So at the time it was not known because of the data cost. So after Geo it became a common thing. Before Geo it was like a costly affair. Okay, so I want, since it was my junior for my juniors, I started doing in Tanglish, Tamil plus English.
Okay.
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 For example, I take up a code piece and explain it in Tanglish so that they can understand better and then they can do much things. So this is a simple thought process because this is what we do before the semester night. We hear stories from everybody and then we get ourselves whatever we are supposed to do in 6 months, we do it in six.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we go and crack the exams. So I thought, look, the same tone I should maintain. So I started doing it in the friendly tone with a lot of visual analogies and other things. And when I started this, I thought, okay, this is going to transform the world. That is the assumption I had. Okay, but I didn't even get 1 or 2 views for the first month. So nobody cared. Okay, 3 months passed out. I myself got demotivated. I said, why I'm doing it? Nobody's watching it. Then all of a sudden, in the third month, I got 1 million hits.
Wow.
So I was shocked. Suddenly, why 1 million hits? What happened? Is there any exams which is coming up, or what is the reason for it? And I started calling my juniors and asked, like, hey guys, what are you doing? Is there anything which is special happening? And that's where they said, Anna, are you putting YouTube videos? We didn't know that. That's what they said.
Oh,
So they didn't know it.
that is you. Yeah.
But 1 million hits where it came from. I started looking at it. The most of the audience came from US, UK, and Singapore. These are three demographics that came in. I was very much confused. If somebody is in these areas, they are decent in English. They would have written TOEFL or GRE or through some MNCs they have gone there. So why they are coming and watching a video in Tamil or Tanglish was my question. Then I started slowly interacting. They said everybody did engineering in Tamil Nadu. Most of their engineering basics were weak. Now they are doing either MS or working in some company where it is really expected to show the real thing. Okay. So that is where they started understanding. That's how I started it, and it became a thing.
And then, and then tell me about GUVI. How did that come across? Why was it so important to start that?
Sure. So when I understand that this is not a problem with my college, to give a number, Tamil Nadu alone has around 500 engineering colleges. Right now, at least 100 would have closed. That's a different story. So if you remove the top 20% of the colleges, remaining 400 colleges are in the same state of they are not getting right exposures. So I was telling this to my PayPal lunch mates. So one girl, she's from Andhra, she said, Arun, you have only 500. Come to Andhra, we have 1,000 colleges. Okay. Another guy in UP said that I have 700 colleges. Come to UP, you will know it. So this is a pattern which I see in all the parts in India, at least. That okay, I should go and fix it. Okay. So I wanted to start an NGO to do it. That's the thought process I had it. Okay. But I met Professor Ashok Junjunwala. He said that if you want to make a real impact, make it a sustainable company, or else you'll not be able to do it. Okay. So when he said that, it made sense to me. That is where we got registered as a company and then started as a proper company. And we named the company as GUVI. What it means is grab your vernacular imprint. What it means is vernacular is your native language, mother tongue. Okay, that should be your identity. Though you do it in English, Hindi, all those things. I mean, we talk in English, that's fine, but Hindi might be your identity, or whatever, like Marathi might be your identity. For me, Tamil is my identity. So English is a business language, but identity or understanding is in a different language. Okay, that is the idea in which GUVI started, and then we got incubated in IIT Madras first, okay, as a company. Then later, IIM Ahmedabad also incubated us. Second, so we are the only lucky company to have both IIT Madras and IIM Ahmedabad. Best in business, best in technology in our board. Okay. Then later HCL came in. HCL also took a majority stake in us. So as a strategic investor, and right now we are part of HCL group as well. So we have the technology, we have the business, we have the uh, technology companies. That's the thing. That's how we are.
And how does it work, sir? How does the platform work itself?
The platform works in two modes. One is you can learn on your own self-paced mode. So like any other recorded platforms. Okay. But the differentiating factors, we do it in the native language. English also included. Doesn't mean that we discard English. Okay. So we do it in 10 Indian languages. Okay. You take a 500 rupees bill, you will find the languages, all the languages we are doing it. Okay. So that is one thing. And apart from the Indian languages, we also do it in international languages. For example, we do it in French, we do it in Vietnamese, Arabic, Spanish, and Swahili. Okay. So Swahili, I came to know only recently that that is one of the mostly spoken languages in our African region. So when we partner with one of the companies in Africa, they asked for this. Then we started doing it in that as well. So like that, we started expanding to all other places across India and across the globe as well.
And what kind of impact have you seen through this? Is there a specific case study or a specific use case scenario that you can share with me?
Sure. There are a lot of use cases which is there. Like I'll give a couple of things. So one of the guy, he was from a lower middle class background. Okay, he come and joined with us, and when he joined, he was not able to communicate properly in English. When I say it, we said that we arranged an interview with one of the companies. We said that let him code. You give any tough code, he will code, but English, you leave him little liberty. Okay, so he cracked it. Okay, so he cracked the interview, and then he called me from the interview before calling the parents. Okay, so that was a sweet moment for me. Okay, so now he started in Chennai. He moved to Bangalore. Right now he stays in Bay Area, so he was able to transform the thing. Okay, so earlier he was staying in a hut kind of thing, literally hut. So after going that, he was able to build a house, and for the housewarming he invited us to go there. Okay, so like that we have a lot of stories. In couple of stories, there were women who was like who joined us because they were forced to marry, so they learned from us. Okay, immediately got a job, then they were able to prove, and then they were to get a better life in their thing. Okay, so those kind of lot of transformational stories I've seen in the last 10 years. To give a numerical count, like we have around 30 lakh learners in our platform. Okay, and we hold two Guinness World Records. Okay, so the reason why we did Guinness World Record was when I said people want to learn in vernacular, nobody believed it. So I have to do a Guinness World Record to prove that people are interested. So one is first we did it in programming languages in nine Indian languages. We did with Ministry of AICT, which is a governing body for all the engineering colleges. We partnered with them and did that, and also Central Ministry, also Education Ministry participated in that. Three of us jointly did that first world record. Second world record we did it 3 months ago. We partnered with the UP government in teaching generative AI for women. Okay, so how to use a model, what are the use cases, how to challenge the model, all those things we taught, and we did that exclusively for women only. Guinness World Record, second time we did it.
And so, in today's times, why do you think it is important for people to invest in technical education?
Okay, so as I mean, there is a quote by LinkedIn founder. What he says is like, "Bits are eating the bites of the world." Okay, so read often he says that like everywhere technology is getting there. Okay, for example, I mean, first you need to you should not be afraid of technology. That's the first reason why you should learn technology, or else. So think like how your people see their grandparents when they use a WhatsApp or they use the thing. So they kind of, it's a demeaning or insulting way some people do it, right? Okay, it should not happen to us. We should not be our grandparents in the technology world. Okay, so we should adapt technology. You don't need to sit and write code. I understand that is not needed for everyone, but you should not be afraid of technology and use the technology in the right way. Or else what happens is, whenever there is a polarization of anything happens, you will start believing it, especially in the technology world, because it is always spread in the way which it is want to do it. So to understand that, I mean, in our Mother's Day we used to, every woman should learn math so that you can change the family thing, right? The same way every men or women should learn technology so that they can uplift their kids to the next level. Okay, whether you get into it or not secondary, but you should, when you understand that, you will be able to adapt the technology for your kids, okay, in the right way. So from that perspective,
But then, how would you address the fact that with AI and with everything that's coming in right now, we are also becoming dependent in a way on, like we're becoming less dependent on our skill and more dependent on technology. How do you kind of address that gap? Do you see that gap in the first place?
yes, it is there. That is where I'm saying the gap is there, and we should address in the right way. For example, I'll say that when generative AI came in, it was used for wrong purpose. So typically, showing the videos and things, morphing videos and other things. So you might have seen all the things. So that is because it is not governed by the people in the right way. It was created by some set of people, and it is owned by that people as well. Okay, so there is no awareness for everyone else how it works, what it can be used, or whether we need a rules for governing it. Those things are not there. Now after a year, everywhere people started understanding it. They say that, hey, if you are using AI, explain me how it works. That is a question people started asking it. Let's say if they are using it for your credit rating, okay, now people are at least open enough to ask the question. That is where the EU has imposed something called EU AI Act. Okay, so it adds in 5 levels. In all the levels, so if you're using in the game normal video games, you should use in this statement. If you are using in healthcare, you should explain this level. If you are using in the financial term, these are the constraints we have to follow. Like that, the government started putting the things there because the once the people are aware of it, they started doing it. So those kind of rules has to get in. Even in India, after the deep sea came in last week, we got the deep sea from AI. Okay. So when it came in, we ourselves also wake up. Okay, it is not owned by only Western countries. It can be also done by the Eastern countries. Okay. When that awareness comes in, our government also starts putting pressure in terms of skilling ourselves. Now I see at least I work with multiple state governments. Okay. When I see them, they said like I have to learn, I have to make my employees, when I say employees, government employees to learn AI in the next 6 months. They one of the governments yesterday, I didn't want to reveal the name. They said like they want to skill 10 lakh people within next 6 months. That is their primary goal. They have done it. So like that, so when government pushes it, it becomes awareness in the right way, and that defines the rules for it. So the data privacy rules, where the data privacy has to be there. So all those factors will come in. Okay. So the two parts to it. One is the basic understanding, then the usage of it. So first we have to get the basic understanding. That's where the technology AI comes in, and the usage is a place where right now it is kind of a digital divide kind of it. It's a AI divide. Okay, so the usage is defined by somebody, and we are victims of it. Okay, now once we are here, we'll go here and we'll fix that. Hey, it is not an AI divide. We also know it. We also will participate in deciding how things has to go on, who has to get my data, how you can project my data in a different way. So all those things we do it. Probably in the next 1 to 2 years that will happen. So first part started happening. So everybody started getting the awareness of it. At least people are talking about it. Whether it's good or bad, people are talking about it. Second part will take another year to get into the thing.
What do you think it will? What do you think is required to reach there?
Okay. So simple thing. We need to start using the tools which is already there. For example, there are a lot of platforms. See, I'll give my example. I own a car, but I have no clue on how internally it works. But I drive very well. Okay, that is what is needed in IT as well. You should know how to use it. Right now, people know how to use ChatGPT. That's all.
Yeah.
Beyond that, there is always a question mark. What are the tools there? Okay, so let's say if you use, I mean, everybody should have a saying that I know 10 AI tools which I use it in day and day out. Just 10 tools, whatever it is. You don't need to have technology understanding. Just use it, like how I drive the car.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
put it for the use case. Find 10 tools. So if you're able to find the 10 tools, then you know how it works, where it doesn't work. Okay. So right now, everybody thinks that AI is a silver bullet for everything. You put in data, it will solve every problem, and it will take away your job. Okay. It can be a podcaster. It can be a coder. No, it can. Exactly. So it is believed in that way, but the truth is not that simple. Okay, once you get into whatever the demos you see is a more of a very much curated demo which in a constrained format, so it looks so cool and it creates fear for us.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but in reality, I was doing a hackathon last week with my team, and I was asking them to use AI to build a tool. They literally said that AI was helping me only in debugging. Beyond that, it was not helping me anymore.
Yeah.
As a coder, he has to sit and code, and ask like, "Do you have the fear that you will lose a job to AI?" They said, "No, no way." Okay, so once they started using it, they understand. Okay, it is not that scary as they project in the media. Like that is where I'm saying, start 10 tools, any 10 tools for your thing. So if you start working on it, you will be able to do it.
Are there any three of them? Of course, I can't ask you 10 in the interest of time, and I'm sure it won't. But are there any three or four of them that you think people must explore beyond ChatGPT?
Beyond ChatGPT, there is a site called Hugging Face. Hugging Face. Go to that thing. There will be a lot of demos which they have. It's called Spaces in that site. Okay. So HUGG Hugging Face, that is the site name. So if just it's a free sign up, you can go on free sign up and then play out the tools there. Okay, this is the first place. Without knowing anything, you can use it. Okay. Second one is there is something called LM Studio. LM. Okay. LM Studio. Okay. People can go on. If you are able to explore these two areas, you will get a better context of where tools are, how it is. Then you can do other things.
And tell me, sir, why is it? It's a conversation worldwide, right? Coding now has become a very big thing. It's become a skill to own. So many the incoming generations, it's become like back in the day when I was in school, we used to learn C++. So, those. Now it's a whole different generation that needs to learn. Back in the day, it was a good to know. Why do you it's a skill to own today and it needs to kind of, and even for that matter, future parents or, current generation, the millennials as well who have kids, why do you think they need to invest in this side of things from a student skill perspective?
Okay. So I'll go back to your first point, C++. People used to hate programming because of the errors in C++. One semicolon, you will get 100 errors. Okay. But fact is that is not programming. That is syntax fixing. Okay. But beyond that, there is a logic part in the programming. That is a beautiful thing. So you split a problem into two smaller parts and aligning it, and then the syntax is second part of it. When I started programming, so I didn't have computers at the day. Okay. So one of my friends said that without computer you can learn programming. I was shocked. How come somebody can do it? He said that, Macha, write it in the paper. I will correct it and give it. Okay. Then he did it, and I was able to solve the simple programs in 20 minutes, 30 minutes in my college days. Okay. So he split the logical part from the error correction part. Okay. So earlier, whatever my friend did is what A is doing it. Okay. In A world, you know, don't need to learn the syntax part of it. You say the logic part of it, it will generate the code for you. Okay. So what it means to us, like so a lot of my friends who joined 20 years back right now are managers. Okay. So they are in a critical situation where like they can't learn new programming language, but they have to work with a lot of good programmers. They can't fix the code as well. Now their job is in a critical state. That is the situation where now what the AI can do is now I'll give an example. For example, in banking or any other place, lot of code is written 20 years back. Nothing has been touched. The reason, if I touch it, I don't know where it will break. Okay, the junior developers are not allowed to touch it. Senior developers doesn't know how to touch it. Okay, now there is a bridge which is needed. The bridge can be AI. AI can read the code and give it to the senior developers, which is a senior guys who knows the business, and he can inspect that in English and change it. Okay, so that bridge can be done right now, and that will change a lot of things in the world. When I say a lot of things in the world, for example, tomorrow if you want an app, you can drag and drop. Right now we call that as a no code. Okay, so tomorrow it could be a descriptive way. I need the app with this thing. It will be able to create an app and give it to you. So you can solve your problem with that app. Okay, for example, you can have a recording system with certain features, and then you can build it on your own. Okay, so that is right now it is not available. Somebody, whatever the developer gives is what you are using it. Okay, you are just a consumer, whatever it is not like a custom designed outfit for you. Okay. So tomorrow you can be a celebrity in the code world where the app is designed for you and given it for you, and you can specify this is what I want. For that perspective, the seniors should learn code, and the juniors naturally, if you want to sit with them, so you should understand this and understand the business as well. That's how it goes.
And has this existed? Because you mentioned that even before computers, there was something called as programming. Has this existed, and is it inspired from something that was already, there, or is it only after computers came in that this has come up, or does AI have its roots in a time that was not as technologically advanced as today?
That's a very good question, actually. To be frank, computer science is only one chapter in whole mathematics. Okay, so I would say that computer science is applied mathematics. Okay, whatever you have it in computer science is what we are putting it in the, sorry, whatever you are having in the mathematics is what we are putting into computer science. For example, A is nothing but your matrix multiplication, which we have studied in our 8th grade or ninth grade. Okay. The same way, whatever you learned, unions and other things, Venn diagrams, all those things, right? So those things are what is used right now. To be precise, we call something as statistics, right? Where we draw the graphs and other things. That is called machine learning. The computer science guys renamed that and called it as a machine learning. It is not joke, it is fact actually. Go and check it out. All the machine learning algorithms are nothing but your old school. It's called linear regression, logistical regression. Linear regression is nothing but, in the school we studied the graph, right? Line, slope of the line, y equal to mx plus c. That is the basic of machine learning. To be very, to nail down like how it is easy, e equal to mc square. In machine learning, y equal to mx plus c is the core thing, and that is what is machine learning. And extend that to deep learning, which is the next phase where it sees the image and other things, and it goes on with the other multimodal things. So your question was right. Before it is implemented in computers, it was solved by mathematician. Now the theoretical physics or theoretical maths is applied in the computers. That's all. Your graphics are nothing but your geometries thing. Okay, so the line vectors and other things. It's only 8th and ninth or max 12th class math. Nothing else.
Is there a code that you've written and you'll remember for a long time just because of the kind of impact it was able to deliver?
I don't know if it has impacted others or not. It has impacted me. For example, I am from a biology group. Okay, so I had a fear saying that I will not be able to code because it is. I had two friends. One friend, he is from computer science, 12th computer science. So he used to scare me for everything, so that he feels superior. Okay, for example, he used to tell that if you touch wrong keys in the keyboard, it will get virus. And I believe that because I'm a biology group, biology, touch, virus, everything is fair. Water, air, touch, all the things. So that is how I was scared in my first semester. Okay. Then came the second friend who's from a guy who learned computer science on own, and he taught me. Okay. So with that, I started learning programming, and my proudest moment was I wrote a C program which will generate an analog clock, not digital clock, analog clock. Okay, it does the dial and other things, small hand, larger hand, and they use a lot of mathematics in putting the graphics in it. So in olden the C, Turbo C, it's called Turbo C. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not. So in that there is something called graphics package where you can draw the lines and other things. And I used simple mathematics to find the angle, and in that angle what would be the shape of the length of the hand, small and long. That is understood. Maths and computer science are one and the same. Okay, if you write the basic math clearly, you will be able to write a code, and that transformed me a lot. And because of that, I was able to start GUVI. Okay, and I was able to impact so many people. That's how indirectly it does. That small analog clock in C programming helped me to change my life.
And what is now, in a way, I feel like GUVI is also a platform that's encouraging us to look at our other languages as well and not kind of undermine their strength, in comparison to English, which is a worldwide adopted language. What has that done? What have you seen that do in society, and why is it so important, even in the long run, to kind of hold on to these mediums?
Okay, I'll define where English and where native language comes into play. English is needed when you want to communicate with the people who doesn't have the common language, or if you are interacting with a guy from US, UK. Those are two primary regions. Okay, there if you are a guy who is into business development or a customer related business, you need to have English. There is no technology as is needed. If you are able to convince the guy, if you are able to sell him what your ideas, that is good enough. Okay, for those roles, yes, English is needed, there is no question. But beyond that, like if you take a company, the business development would be 10 or 15 people. The guy who implements it, designs it, tests it, or puts it in the production would be another 60% of the people. Okay? For those 60% of people, thinking becomes a key thing. Then communicating. So if you're able to think smartly, if you're able to understand things smartly, you are able to do your job very well. And native language helps very well for those 60% of the people who can do the things. I mean, for them the communication is not a primary thing, it is needed. You can talk it in Hindi within your teammates, that's fine. Okay, so or with your broken English you can explain. Okay, and people are okay with that. Okay, so there it doesn't need to be flamboyant in English and stylish like Sashi Tharoor kind of English is not needed. Okay, simple English is good enough. So those 60% of people can think better, can understand better when it is in the native language. Okay, we tested it as well. For example, we gave a course, Python course, beginner Python course in a college to two cohorts of people. We did it 3 times. Okay, take 60 people and gave 160 in English, another 60 in the Tanglish, Tamil plus English kind of. The guy who learned in the native language were able to learn 5x faster and understand 7x better than the actual English people, and he was able to code it fast. Okay, the output is there. Okay, he was able to prove that the proof is in the pudding kind of it. Like he was able to generate the code and he was able to build an app. So for the 60% of the people, the native language helps and it can impact a lot in terms of your productive output and the creative output as well. When you understand in your native language, you can create and connect multiple things and solve a new way. Okay, so that is where the impact is. So if you are in the first 20, stay with English. That is needed. There is no question. You guys are the one who's bringing the business to us. You are very important. But there are certain set of people like me. English is not my strength. My strength is solving problem, creating solutions. I'll fix here and I solve it. For their native language is must, and in every language, I mean, that is where Japan excels, that is where Germany excels, that is where China is beating us. Okay, so all the countries which are leading in the respective things are because they learn in the native language. So we have our own plus and minus, that's fine. So this is how I see that, both English versus non-English.
Because again, when you're coding and when you're getting through that ideal getting to that ideal output that is actually going to create impact, you're also going through multiple stages of failure, right? It's not always just a Kia and Chadgai types. So how do you navigate that? What have you learned about navigating failure through the years?
Okay, this is very important thing. Okay, so I mean, people always say that failure is a stepping stone for success. So I don't believe in that. I flip it something differently. I'll say that every small win is important for me. I'm greedy for small wins. Okay, not a big win. Okay, I collect at least 2 or 3 wins in a day. I'll say that, hey, I fixed this code, this line is done, yes, I have done it. So that simple dopamine is very important for me. And I always say that collect as many wins as possible in a week, and you will see you will be transformed from one level to another level, whatever you are in. It could be in a creative place, it could be in design, it could be in coding. So collect wins. If you can, I always look upon Dravid as my role model. So he doesn't hit sixes, he always makes sure that system moves and the run is code. Even Dhoni does that. Dhoni does six as well as rotation. That's a different thing. But so that is how you should be. You should be ready to rotate for singles. So if you are able to rotate for singles, you will get an opportunity to hit a six. So that time you hit a six. Okay, and that's how it is. So be greedy for small wins.
What lies ahead, and what are you looking forward to growing with in terms of GUVI and even otherwise? What's the kind of impact you wish to achieve?
So after becoming part of HCL, okay, we're able to scale a lot. Earlier we used to be a more of a South Indian centric company. Okay, right now we are able to go across India and even across countries. I was saying, right, Swahili and French and Vietnamese. Those are I got help from HCL team to connect to them. Okay, without them I will not be able to do it because I have no team in Vietnam. I have no team in Ivory Coast. That's where the French is for there. Okay, so like that, if I was able to scale it in the right way. And especially in education, so far it was a VC driven industry where you put in more money you will scale it. But education is not a transactional business where just by putting in money it will scale. Education as a business is a kind of a transformational business where when I say transformational, education, healthcare, fitness, those industries are transformational thing where just throwing money will not solve a problem. There need to be human touch. There need to be a customized solution for every region, and based on that, it will scale. And for that, HCL helps me a lot because they understand the importance of funding in education. They run universities, they run colleges, they also run an IT company. So for me, it is a perfect fit. So they understand the business side of it, they understand the education side of it. So it merges very well for GUVI, and I was able to scale in the right way. So that is a beautiful thing which I am poised on, and hopefully this year and the upcoming year we'll go global, and we are looking. I mean, African region and East Asian countries are the primary target for next 2 years.
Because you mentioned Arabic, I want to ask you because I am located in an Arabic country with a lot of listeners who would potentially be tuning in from the UAE. How can they interact with the platform and what's in it for them?
They can log into GUVI.in and then search for Arabic course and do it. Or if not, like let's say if they need a custom learning path for it, they can mail to me. For example, Arun Prakash at GUVI.in, that's my mail ID. They can mail to me, and then I'll be able to point them to the right resources where they can learn it. Okay, especially in the Arabic. Yes, especially we have a lot of things in AI in Arabic. Okay, so there one of the models, very famous model Falcon, is from the your region. Okay, so that is going to transform most of the Arabic thing, which all the Western models will not be able to understand.
And so, my last question to you is if I were to ask you for one tip that you can share with entrepreneurs of tomorrow, people trying to make a difference, and even technologists of tomorrow, what would it be?
There is a phrase called Akkam's racer. I always remind that to me myself. Most often, simple solutions are the best solutions. Don't try to complicate it. When you try to complicate it, it becomes trouble. For example, GUVI is not a rocket science solution. It is like what we do in the semester exam. That is a simple solution. I was able to do it and implement it in the right way without distraction, and I was able to scale up to 30 lakh learners. Okay, so the idea is very simple. It is not a rocket science idea. I took the idea and applied technology on top of it. Okay, if you are able to do this, you can scale any of your things to the next level. So that is the thing. So always remember Akkam's racer. Simple solution is always the best one.
What a great note, sir. Thank you so much once again for joining me. It's been a pleasure. It's been really resourceful, and I look forward to sharing it with the audience.
Thank you. Your questions were very awesome, very relatable, and it was very, I mean, to the point. It was good.
Thank you.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much.